afterwards. All right, everyone, let's get started right now. We have a lot to talk about. Let's begin with this federal election here in Canada. On October 19th, Canadians elected a brand new Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau is officially our new leader! Woo! All right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a great election, and I think it's safe to say Canada has voted. They want change, and they got change for sure. Over 100 Liberal seats. That's astounding, and that really shows the amount of support.
For sure.
Yeah, we want change, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, there was definitely a Liberal majority. I think 184 seats that the Liberals won. I don't think anybody anticipated that the Liberals would win that many seats. And the NDP, actually, there was a complete washout. They only had about 43 seats, which was really, really shocking. And I feel like people were so anti-Harper. It was really like a draw. It was going to be either the Liberals or the NDP to win. And, I think Justin Trudeau got, momentum, and now he just kept rising.
It's kind of funny, too, because I saw an event on Facebook. It's a Stephen Harper going away party.
Yeah. And it also the welcome home party.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, really funny. I think a lot of the focus has been on Justin Trudeau's looks as well. I mean, people have really been objectifying him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought it was really playful and silly. But how do you feel about it? I mean, he's really being objectified.
Yeah, he's like he said in his platform, he is very in support of the middle class, and I think he's really able to connect with people. He has a very different platform than Mr. Stephen Harper, and he's going to get a lot of change done. He's talked a lot about the economy, and he knows seems like he knows what he's doing, and he seems very mature too. These attack campaigns, it doesn't reflect Mr. Trudeau, and he looks pretty good. So I'm very excited for change. So
yeah.
Let's see how, because they say talk is cheap. Let's see how he follows through.
Yeah, for sure. And also the thing is, I thought it was really smart of him not to mention his dad in his acceptance speech, because I think it's kind of smart, because his dad was beloved by all. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved his dad. So I think it was really nice that he's sort of going to be his own person, but he's going to be a progressive liberal. And I really like that he's he's pro-choice. And I think when he became leader of the Liberal Party almost 3 years ago now, he said that if you want to be an MP, a Liberal MP, you have to be pro-choice. And also, I was going to say something else. Oh yes, on November 3rd or November 4th, I can't remember, he's going to be elected, officially going to be sworn in as Prime Minister, and he said that he's going to have a smaller cabinet with equal number of men and women. So I think this is really, really good. I mean, I really admire him. Also, he does not attack journalists. I remember I saw a bit of a press conference with him a few days ago, and when one of the journalists asked him a question, some people in the audience started booing, and he basically silenced them. He said, in this country we respect our journalists. Yeah. They ask the tough questions that they're supposed to. And so I have a real respect for him now, and I really, really admire him.
For sure. You bring up some very good points, especially the journalists. A lot of politicians, they don't like journalists, and for him to say that, to say, what, this is a democratic country, they have a voice too. So that's pretty cool of Justin Trudeau to do that.
For sure. I'm just happy that this is all happening now. And Prime Minister Stephen Harper, I think right after he was defeated, right? I think he announced that he was going to be resigning as Conservative Party leader. So I can sort of see why he would do that, because it would be such a demotion for him. It would be such a big blow to his ego to go from Prime Minister to the opposition. So the Conservatives are still the opposition. I believe they have about 106 seats. And the Green Party has 1 seat, so good for them. Good for them. hopefully things work out. And a lot of broadcasters ran. I mean, Seamus O'Regan, Jennifer Hollett, Claire Martin. So yeah, it's really, really exciting.
I just know, he's just trying to. His theme was real change. So you know what? I'm in support of real change.
For sure.
And some of I'm just really excited.
For sure.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. You mentioned real change. One quick thing. Barack Obama in his campaign, his 2008 campaign, his words were hope and change, and Justin Trudeau was real change. So I think maybe change is a liberal thing, and I'm looking forward to see what he'll do next.
For sure.
Another main issue that, actually one of the major issues that was really spoken of during this election was childcare. In fact, it's a very, very big issue. There are 5.7 million children under the age of 14 right now in Canada. So how do you feel about this topic right now? And which party do you think has the best platform for childcare?
Ali, the Liberal Party actually, their platform was they were going to have, so again, they're in support of the middle class. And I believe somewhere in the platform, I don't know too much about the details, but they are going to have set aside some money for childcare. And I think in this country there's a lot of new parents that are having children, and they want something affordable for their children, because of course, we know that childcare isn't cheap, and I think that's very important, to find a place that accommodates all parents, and that's accessible to them too.
Absolutely. I think the Conservatives, they were like with their child care plan, they were accused of favoring two-parent households. I mean, they have what's called the Universal Child Care Benefit. I'm going to read right from the paper because I don't want to get this wrong. Their signature program is the Universal Child Care Benefit, which pays about $160 a month for each child under the age of 6, and $60 monthly for kids between the ages of 6 and 17. The NDP, I think they promised to introduce a $15 per day system that would create about 370,000 new childcare spaces by 2018 to 2019 at a cost of almost $2 billion. So,
sorry, just to go on that point, $2 billion, and I think that's quite costly. So I'm just a little bit weary on how they're going to do that. Like, are the taxes going to be increased?
Right.
Like, well, I know Justin Trudeau now, he's the prime minister,
Yeah.
but if they were to do it, I'm still a little shaky on how they would do that, because what would happen to the economy? And at $15 a day, that's quite expensive.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think under the Liberals, taxes will definitely go up because I think that's what the liberal ideologies are. Because you have to, I think what they believe is you have to spend money to make money. And I think that's going to lead into our next subject of marijuana, which we'll actually get to in just a second. But right now, we want to talk about the Syrian refugees. I think in mid-September, I think we all know about this whole crisis. And the Conservatives, I think they said they don't want to take in any Syrian refugees at this time, and that definitely created a big backlash. And you have some strong views about this.
I do. There's thousands of children and families escaping Syria as fights have broken out within Syria. They're just trying to escape, and I believe Germany, just in the past few months, they've taken in over 50,000 refugees in the course of 1 week. That's quite astonishing. And it's very unfortunate. There's people dying just trying to get to another country. I think a lot of Canada, for instance, we pride ourselves in our being multicultural, and I think we need to start stepping up our game.
Absolutely, and I think Turkey was one of the countries that let in a lot of people, about 3 million people, in fact. So that is definitely a big deal. When Justin Trudeau was still a Liberal Party leader, he still is, but now he's a Prime Minister now. He suggested that all the party leaders, meet up and to discuss this issue. And Prime Minister Stephen Harper then he quashed the issue. He said, no, this is just a partisan game. So, I mean, now that he's Prime Minister, he's vowed to come up with a way to let in about 25,000 Syrian refugees. So, I mean, hopefully he sticks to this plan. And I think one of the reasons why Stephen Harper lost was because he was becoming too much of a Republican, I think. And, he was becoming sort of, I guess, anti-immigrant, I suppose. And
I really don't think Stephen Harper did much. Of course, he got Canada to where it is now, but I just don't think we could have been so much more. And there's this one video I was watching a while ago. There's this one lady, she was at the airport. It was based on a true story. And this guy comes and he spits on her jacket. It was horrible. And he said, "What happened to you?" And she had the poppy or the Canadian pendant on her lapel, on her jacket, sorry. And he said, "You used to be the good one." And that was very strong. It's just like, really? It's just like, yeah, and that's true. We used to be, we still are a great country, but we can be so much more. And I just think Justin Trudeau, he's just going to take us into a new era, a fresh start, a clean slate. And I think Canadians are looking forward to that. It's funny, I saw on Facebook there was a Stephen Harper going away party.
For sure.
So
they're
kind of tired of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people are. So another big topic that we want to discuss is physician-assisted suicide. Should dying patients have the right to administer a physician, or have a physician administer a drug, I suppose, to die?
Yeah, to end life, yeah. Ali, this topic has been a very controversial issue during the past few years, and it's been, very heated debate as well. But I think in any discussion, it's important that we get our terminology correct. So, physician-assisted suicide is when the physician gives you the resources to end life, but he's there supervising you, of course. And in euthanasia, the physician is actually the one who performs the act of taking the life. And A lot of people are like, you know what, is Canada ready for this? I would say actually a very comprehensive poll done by Ipsos Reach showed that over 80% of Canadians are actually in support of this, and over 80% of Canadians are in support of this. A lot of religious groups are in support of this. I think it says that society says that we are ready, we want that. Like they say, laws reflect the values and beliefs of society. And I'm very much in favor of physician-assisted suicide. I don't believe that anybody should be suffering with such agonizing pain. And there was this one woman, I totally forgot the name, but she just couldn't wait. She said she wrote a letter before taking her life, and she was Canada's, she's Canada's most, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stumbling on the word.
Sue Rodriguez, I guess.
Yeah, I believe it was Sue Rodriguez, and there was also another woman. She was a very big advocate for physician-assisted suicide. Unfortunately, it was just too late, and she actually took her own life because she couldn't wait for this to happen. Back in January, the Supreme Court of Canada actually uplifted this ban on physician-assisted suicide, and this legislation, the Supreme Court gave jurisdictions and provinces a certain amount of time, I believe it's 6 months or a year, to reform their laws.
Yes.
So it's going to take a while, and I'll be looking forward to that discussion.
For sure. I mean, there are a lot of different things we can say about this, but I think that I'm in favor of it because I think once a patient passes away, you can donate their organs to someone who actually needs it, and this is doctors can actually move on to somebody who actually will need the help, right? Because this is for someone who is critically ill, who is dying, someone who has ALS, or someone who's extremely ill and has no chance of return. And I think the person will be in agony. I mean, they will have no quality of life, and I think this is really the person's prerogative. And I think one of the things that I think a person will tell you is that they're afraid of being dependent on other people. And so I think the least we can do is let these people have the right to own their body, right? They have the right to how they want to
live. Yeah, and just to go on that, the Supreme Court of Canada said on that day when they uplifted the ban, they said the right of life also extends into death. You have that. That is your right. If you're in agonizing pain, you get to, you should have that right to end your life. And of course, this is for terminally ill patients. And that's what they said. That this is your right to life, your right to security. And I think that's very important. Palliative care is very expensive, and I think this is good from my perspective. I like it.
Everybody's favorite subject. No, I'm just kidding. Legalization. One of the things Justin Trudeau said that if he's elected, he's going to legalize marijuana. And it's so funny because literally, on the first day, people were like, "Okay, where's the weed? I don't see that." So how do you feel? I mean, I personally think that if marijuana is legalized, I am in favor of it. But I feel like if it's legalized, 420 will be the only day where people actually don't smoke weed. So yeah. So how do you feel about this? I know you're in favor of it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm for sure in favor. Oh, I don't enjoy smoking joints.
Yes, we should make that disclaimer. We are not going to smoke it. No.
Yeah. Ali, just on a serious topic, if you legalize marijuana, you know what? There's a lot of clashes, street gangs, and I think that'll clear that up. That'll stop that feud from happening, hopefully. And also, if you do uplift it, you can tax it, Ali, and the government earns so much money from that, and we have a chance to give that money to communities who need it. For example, just one of the examples, Rexdale, Jane and Finch, a lot of the developing communities, and I think they really need that. For example, let's take Colorado. Once Colorado legalized, it had a surplus economy. It was booming, and they had enough money to give back to the communities. And also, even if you do legalize, a lot of people are like, oh, people are going to be smoking joints around schools, but no, that's actually not the case. With cigarettes, we have municipal, legislation in place for that. You can't just smoke up anywhere. So if you do legalize marijuana, you can facilitate it. Where can you smoke it? Who can get in the hands of it? Cigarettes. Nobody under the age of 21 can get it. So I know for sure facilitate it.
Right.
And it's also good because the people who actually need it, it'll be more accessible for them.
Right. Absolutely. I think you touched on it. I think that it'll contribute to the end of the black market. I think basically there's a lot of illegal use of marijuana. So I think if the government legalizes it, they have full control over it, and so they can control how much of it is being sold. And so I don't think Yeah, so I think it'll definitely help with that, and definitely there are certainly health benefits, and certainly someone who has MS or any other illness that can definitely help with that. Let's see, one more thing. I'm just trying to remember. Why don't you talk in the meantime?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like I said before. I touched upon the economy, how it'll benefit that, giving back to the community, and also even if kids do get the hands of this marijuana, at least they'll know what's going into it, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who do obtain this, they get marijuana and, they find out, oh, it's laced, and, they're stumbling upon the street, that's not good. Like, at least they'll know what's in it, right? I'm not saying, oh, okay, the kids should smoke joints, like, don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there are people out there who definitely have tried marijuana, and yeah, I would not try this because I don't need anything else that'll help me increase my appetite. I'm done. All right, and I think that brings us to the end of today's show. We want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. Hey, to our cameraman, can we put on some more Jennifer Lopez? Let's hear some Jennifer Lopez. Let's put on some Jennifer Lopez right now before we say goodbye. We want to say thank you to everybody for stopping by. Let's go.